Alec and I have worked in startups and scale ups, and it seems like demand generation is the hot topic of the day, especially in these young companies that are really trying to, make it happen quickly. What are the first steps that you kind of pull together in a newer or younger company to get the demand generation engine moving?
Yeah, so I think this might be a different answer than most people would say, but I would say it's really about making sure you have the right tools and infrastructure in place to make sure you can actually capture that demand when it comes in. I think it's a big miss when people don't invest in marketing operations in the beginning. I once joined a startup that I first joined, in their contact us form on their website was completely insecure. It was basically just driving pure spam. They were getting like hundreds of spam leads a day. So they just weren't looking at it. And I was like, this is insane, right? This is like your number one way that people contact you. So like first step was like, okay, we need a marketing automation platform, right? We need to make sure we have a secure form on the website. We understand where these people are coming from, like where is all the spam coming from, but also where are the good people coming from, more importantly. And so understanding that as like the baseline is super important. Then you get into the more fun stuff, right? Like establishing who's your ICP, what channels are those people on, like how much should you be investing in order to hit your targets, and really making sure you have a full funnel approach so that, like the way I like to think about it is, if you know how many opportunities you need, back that out to figure out how many leads you need. And then if you're still not hitting that goal, but you're seeing the leads, then you can start to diagnose each of those funnel stages, right? If you just have an MQL goal, you're probably not going to hit your opportunity goal, as an example.
Carly, what about I like what you're saying. You got to get the fundamentals in place first. So then once you get into it, though, I think one of the hardest challenges often is, as a marketer, you're trying to figure out where do I place my bets and how do I figure out where to put my demand generation efforts. So how much in your mind do you allow for a little bit of experimentation and testing out? Because sometimes you don't know until you actually try it. Do you even agree with that premise?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You don't know until you try it. And also sometimes when you try it and you don't execute it correctly, it may look like it's not working when it could be.
Yeah.
An example at Intellimise, when I first started, they were not running paid search. They're like, we had an agency, it wasn't working. And I was like, okay, that's like fair. But I think it can work. So like, let's like take a step back and figure out like, why wasn't it working? Let's start with like a small amount of budget, see where we can start to invest in that channel to make it work. And once we start to see those results, okay, now let's ramp spend until we hit our cap, right? Of, okay, this is now not efficient anymore. You've kind of like figure out that sweet spot and then move on to the next channel, right? But with that said, I would caution just investing in one channel at a time. I think having like a full funnel approach is better. So maybe you say, okay, we're going to try paid search, LinkedIn, Facebook, and an event. And then check all of those and see how did those compare against each other? And did those things help the results of each other, right?